All right. It's patch day. Patch notes for WarCraft 3. They were released yesterday, and here we are. Um, I've gone through some of these patch notes, or I saw some of the patch notes in the PTR, but I wanted to get a final update and get a final understanding of everything. So, performance fixed an issue on production servers. All right, so that's good. Bug fixes, general, added classic campaign background screens. Okay, lighting. Reforged. Okay, none of these things that I really care about here. I'm really more interested in, well, obviously in the game balance. And here we are. Sentry Ward Vision reduced from 1600 to 1200. All right. Sentry Ward Health reduced from 200 to 50. That's good. You don't gotta stand around um, trying to auto attack a Sentry Ward until it's gone. One or two hits should be able to finish it. Now magic immune, so you can't dispel them. All right, that's good. Healing ward charges reduced from 3 to 2 on an item. All right, nice. Healing ward effect area from 500 to 450. Healing wards are now magic immune, so once again they have to be attacked. They just can't be devoured or anything like that. Ring of protection +4 removed from the drop pool. Ring of +3 added to the drop pool, and Ring of +3 gold reduced from 150 to 125 matches Ring of Protection +4. All right, making sure that all the items in a drop on a drop table are the same, so you don't get a little bit more gold. Orb of Darkness will now spawn level 2 dark minions. Oh wow. Okay. Oh, that does make sense because you want that damage or you want those minions, but having level 1 minions walking around at that later portion of the game, they just become experience fodder. But level 2 dark minions also are are better minions as well. So that's an interesting call right there. Ancient Jangle of Endurance aura movement speed increased from 5 to 7.5, and attack rate increased from 3 to 3.5. All right, that's balancing issues again. Legion of Doomhorn increased from 5 to 7.5, and health regen per second 0.3 to 0.35. All right, so some minor tweaking balance. And here's the big one. Orb of Fire replaced with Orb of Slow, costs 325, provides +5 damage, and now has a chance to proc a slow. So this is what's weird about this is it almost seems like um, this could just be like orb of like the cold arrow, right? But it only has a chance chance to proc instead of always applying, and but it does slow them down significantly, 55% movement speed for 10 or 5 seconds. Um, and it actually procs less on heroes, so the Orb of Slow would be used to attack units more rather than attack heroes and then try and disable their ability to be healed. Orb of Slow debuff is undispellable and affects magic immune units. Oh, that is big. So dryads trying to do hit and runs, and huntress in particular could actually get slowed. And then also, just like Orb of Lightning being able to purge a destroyer and make it slow, this can also be applied to a destroyer as well. Orb of Slow debuff stacks with other sources of slow. Note minimum speed is 150. All right, Flame Strike reduced. Siphon mana. All right, so area of effect reduced from 800 to 700, so you can break that link. Banish cooldown. Now, level 1 Banish doesn't have a 0-second cooldown. We've seen how powerful that can be. Holy Light cooldown increase, so slightly faster. Devotion Aura armor increased. Oh no, decreased from to 3.55. Militia armor reduced. Oh, so militia are not going to be nearly as beefy. Defend piercing damage reduced from 65 to 50%. Defend reflection rate reduced from 30 to 25. Defend cost reduced. All right, so lowering defend overall, but also making it easier to get. That's nice. Slow duration reduced. Okay, so the slow from a sorceress doesn't last nearly as long. Invisibility range. Okay, so sorceresses can try and cast oh, I like this, and I like this as well. So heal range increased for priest from 250 to 350. Invisibility range increased from 300 to 400. One of the main big deals was how close your priests were in or to that front line position, and how easily they were being targeted by, say, crypt fiends and other units. By giving them that little bit of extra range, they're able to maybe this will help in that undead matchup where all of a sudden the casters are able to do their casting thing without being straight in the fray of battle. All right, Arcane Vault removed for Dragonhawks and Cloud upgrade. Okay, so Arcane Vault no longer needed for Dragonhawks and Cloud. You can just build a Griffin Aviary at tier 2. Orb of Lightning damage against summoned units increased. All right, so that purge is a little higher. Mirror image cooldown increased. All right, Great Hall build time reduced. All right, Wind Rider level reduced from 4 to 3. Now, this was something I've been saying for a long time. Um, Wind Riders are extreme. If you go for Wind Riders and they die, like because their supply was at level 4, you ended up feeding experience to your opponent rather quickly. And then suddenly you're behind. So this could open up Orc Air a little bit more. Envenom Spear's damage per tick reduced, okay, from 4 to 3, but we know why that is. Movement speed reduced, so they're slightly slower. Okay, all the wards are now magic immune. Okay, Stasis Trap, health, ooh, I don't know if I like that one. The Stasis Trap, it should take actually a little bit of time to destroy the trap. Um, right? Yes, they're magic immune, but you should try and really focus onto it because you don't want to get stunned. I don't Stasis trap duration. Oh wow, reduced from 6 to 4, so that and the radius detonation radius reduced. So stasis traps weren't used that often before, so I don't know if they're going to be used that often now. Healing wards duration. Tauren now have resistant skin. All right, Tauren now cost increased. All right, so Tauren are have resistant skin. So if they have resistant skin, that means that magic damage does less to them. I'll have to look at resistant skin once more, or how it's worded. But yeah, resistant skin. All right, that's actually something I wanted for mortar teams and riflemen. The dwarves to be able to gain resistant skin as an upgrade. Mortar teams being the only siege unit that are low hit points that are vulnerable to Death Coil, Frost Nova, Stormbolt. Right, everything else is a mechanical unit, and that's why they're naturally immune to that. But no, so yeah, I still don't know how that's going to affect things. Griffins are supposed to counter Tauren, but if they have resistant skin, they no longer counter Tauren. That this could open up things a lot more in the human versus orc matchup. All right, Orb of Venom, damage per tick, um, reduced from 9 to 8. Keeper of the Grove, strength gain. Okay, so a little bit more hit points. Treant attack cooldown reduced. Okay, so they're going to attack faster. Wisp, lumber, gather interval. Okay, so wisps are actually going to gather lumber faster. Upgrade Moonglaives now changes Huntress armor type to heavy. This is a big change. Um, this is a big change in that suddenly riflemen who counter huntresses no longer counter huntresses because the huntresses now will have heavy armor, taking reduced, or no longer taking bonus damage, but the huntresses and their glaives bouncing around onto those riflemen, they're going to fall down faster. The research time increased, and this is also increased. All right, so upgraded Moonglaives changes their type. Movement speed, they're slightly slower. Ultra vision, time reduced. All right, Chimera, movement speed increased. Vorpal Blade upgrades now grants an additional 10 damage. All right, so being able to get more damage and also pierce targets. Overall, I like that. I guess they're trying to make Huntresses more of a tier 2 or tier 2.5 unit by giving this upgrade here and not make them just always going to be countered. So this is an interesting predicament where suddenly you can train a bunch of 1.5 tier units and you build the counter as as an orc player or as a player, and then one upgrade suddenly says no, your counter is no longer the counter. This might this might be weird in some situations. And suddenly, guard towers are no longer as effective at guarding against huntresses who can dive in now that they have heavy armor. Wandom Negation is a single target dispel that deals 200 damage to summon units. All right, single target. Charges increase. Yeah, that should be the case. Ritual Dagger cost reduced. Oh, but there's only one charge, but the healing is increased. All right. Frost Nova range reduced. Yeah, I did feel like that 800 range was quite long, and now it's gonna bring that bring that lich a little bit closer. Carry on swarm damage increased um, at the middle tier only. So 75, 135, 200. All right. And Nerubian Tower attack cooldown reduced, so the Nerubian Tower is going to attack faster. Burrow research time reduced. Okay. Gargoyle movement speed reduced. Okay. Cripple mana cost decreased. Okay. Anti magic shield blocked damage, very nice. That's always been a thorn in the side. Disease cloud spawn on Abomination Death no longer have collision. All right. Frostworm attack. Air attack now has area effect, same as ground. Frostworm ground and air attack range increased from 300 to 375. Okay. So neutral rain of fire range increased. Ooh, that's gonna. I wonder if that's gonna change the pit lord rain of fire. If that range is now 800, whether or not the arcane tower positions are gonna have to change. Dark Ranger Drain Life can now transfer life to a friendly unit. Interesting, making it more like Siphon mana. Now Drain Life, similar things. Creeps. Poison treants no longer have entangled roots. Health increase. Okay. Spitting spider armor type change from heavy to medium, and health reduced. All right. Giant spider reduced. Satyr Hellcaller level reduced. Giant wolf stock delay increased. Satyr. Okay. Immolation damage. All right. Entangle. All of these things. Blizzard casting time reduced. Does that also mean Archmage's Blizzard casting time? And also the Rain of Fire, is that us all? Is that the Rain of Fire casting time on like the Pit Lord as well? Brilliance Aura, mana regeneration. Okay, no, this is creep. That has to be creep only. All right, Infernal Machine. All right, let me know what you guys thought about the all of the patch notes. Are there anything? Is there anything that I missed? Anything you would change? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening mainly. Hope you guys see me again.